What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zeph War Games, and today I am bringing you a live twin, evil twin profile. So for those of you who don't know what this is a mixture of course, the live twins of Yugioh and Leela, alongside the Unchained twins as well. Now, this isn't the most optimal version, but it is a lot cheaper when you compare this to the Sprite version. Now, obviously, the Sprite version does involve the Sprite Blues, which are about £40 each, and then everything else. However, this deck still packs a punch, and it will catch a lot of people off guard because it has a very nice balance of front row and back row, and I'll also show you some combos at the end of the video. So shout out to Baddy who asked me to put this profile together. Hopefully you enjoy it as much as everyone else does as well. With all of that out of the way, let's dive headfirst into the profile and show you exactly what we've got. So you start off with triple of each of the sisters, so triple Yugioh and triple Leela, with one copy of Treat and one copy of Frost. Now obviously these guys are the one card combos. These are the ones that on their own will pretty much build you up a very basic board with the evil twins in the extra deck. You also use Frost and Treat as additional extenders should these get stopped by like an Ash Blossom or a Veiler or anything like that. You're still able to combo off with this, and the way that's made even more possible is with triple Sunny Snitch. This card is a time con in the fact that every time your opponent normal or special summons, you get to gain 200 life points, and they burn for 200, so it's always a 400 life point swing. On activation, quite like a Tenki, it gets you add a live twin monster, so obviously you can search out your starters, meaning you've got 9 copies, and then it can also search out your extenders. Speaking of having 9 copies, you also do play 2 Signet Mining, just in order to search these guys out, or even your extender. So you've got more ways of doing it. In this particular version, it's something you could arguably consider cutting out, but it does give you more of those ways. If Droll comes back into the format, I would highly advise getting rid of these, for the pure fact that you got to do a lot of searching through the Sunny Snitch and everything else, that you want to make sure you don't get hit by that early on off of the back of a Signet Mining. We then play triple Secret Password. Now Secret Password again counts as 3 more Sunny Snitch, so in theory you now end up having 14 copies of your 1 card starter. So you get to add a live twin or evil twin spell or trap from your deck to the hand, and then if you control Yugioh monster and you control a Leela monster, you get to add an evil twin monster from your deck to the hand instead. Now obviously it's very rare that you want to add the monster anyway, because you're ideally going to go from Password to Sunny into one of those as well. The final live twin spells that we play is 2 live twin home, and this card again is a little bit restrictive, so you discard a card to special summon a Yugioh or Leela monster from the deck, but for the rest of the turn, after this card resolves, you can't special summon monsters from the extra deck except evil twins. So it does turn your deck into a mono route, which is absolutely fine because the evil twins can lead into Trouble Sunny, or it can lead into the draw pop combo with Yugioh and Leela. However, again, it discards a card as well. It is a live twin card. It's one of the ones where if you get ashed or if you get veilered or impermed on these, you have alternative routes to keep your combos going. So you can see that this has a huge consistency factor when you're playing exactly maximized on everything you need apart from the home. And then the final one is that Call by the Grave to deal with those particular hand traps. Now there is another very mini engine at the end of the profile which consists of 3 cards that if you wanted to you could cut out and put in Crossout Designator, and then you could cut out the evil twins and everything else like that, or the Unchained twins, and by doing so you're then opening up the door to play more hand traps. But I've kind of gone for the balance because I really liked this combination when it first came out, so yeah. We go with triple Unchained Aruha, double Rakia, and then a single Sarama. A lot of people do play 2, and you can play 2 if you want. I've just had horrendous luck with this card. So it's one of the ones where if you open it, the combo at the end that I'll show you kind of is a bit dead. But it's also one of the ones where when I had 2, I was opening up multiples. I was just like, what is this doing? So I wanted to kind of minimize the risk, but then arguably you should be doubling that up. So it comes down to personal preference. If you're playing the game and you see this in your hand every time, double this up to 2. If you're playing the game and you don't see this at all and your luck is on your side, then you keep it at 1. It's entirely up to you. 2 Abominable Unchained Soul, and then the 1 Unchained Soul of Disaster. So these are obviously your boss monsters for the main deck. These are also the cards you need in order to get to your Unchained monsters from the extra deck. Aruha is probably your best card, but keep in mind when you use their effects, so obviously the quick effect of Rika to destroy a card, and the Aruha to pop a card on the field to special summon it, you will ultimately end up locking yourselves into Fiends from the extra deck, which is fine because that's what the live twins are. The only thing it will stop you doing is stop you getting into the elf, But again, as part of a combo, if you want to, you do Elf first, and then you start using these to get into your Unchained. For the other Unchained cards, of course, we do have triple Prism alongside triple Chamber and triple Escape. Now, Escape is your most powerful interruptive card because this one lets you target an Unchained monster you control and one card in the field and destroy both of them. So for those of you that don't know, all of the Unchained cards will have an effect once they're destroyed, more so the lower level Unchained rather than the Souls. So the Unchained all will pop and then float into another Unchained card. So the Rekia has a quick effect to target a card on the field and destroy it, so you'd ideally be targeting another Unchained monster, pop it, and then that will summon out one of the Unchained Souls. This one, the Abominable Unchained, is your most interruptive monster because you get to special summon it if a card is you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, and then when you do special summon it, you get to discard a card to destroy one card in the field. And then during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was destroyed on the field and sent there this turn, you get to special summon it back, but you put it on the bottom of the deck when it leaves the field. Now, obviously, there are a lot of cards in the game that will bounce this card, that will send this card rather than destroying this card, so it is something to keep your mind on. The Disaster is probably your weaker one, but your Disaster, if you summon it during your turn, it lets you use one of your opponent's monsters to link into, and then that's when you get into your Link 2, being the Unchained Soul of Rage, which is basically your way of linking into with your opponent's stuff as well. So it's really important. This is how this engine can kind of interact with them. And all of the spells and traps have the same effect as well, that when they're destroyed, they special summon an Unchained from the deck. So you can just see how this deck floats, or this engine floats, and then the Live Twins kind of instigate that as well. If you wanted to, you could put in the Scythe package. Like I said, there are free flex spots, which I'm about to show you now. And it's just something that I wanted to trial out, but I also wanted to kind of keep the cost of the deck down where at all possible. So I went with 2 Sprite Red and 1 Sprite Carrot. Should have been Sprite Pink, but you know. And the reason we put these in here is because they do have a very nice kind of interaction with the deck. So they are just a free summon. Once you've activated Leela, Key Skill, or anything like that, they are a free summon. And when you've done something like that, it means that all of your plays going forward are slightly protected because they do tribute Link 2s. So what I mean by this is if I activated the Evil Twin Leela or Kill to bring back one or the other from the graveyard, and my opponent went to activate something like DD Crow, went to activate Magnemute or anything like that, I could then activate Red to tribute off the one that's on the field, and then it would still resolve bringing back the Kill. And then obviously I can use the Kill effect to bring it back. The issue is you wouldn't get their draw or their pop effect because they need to control another one when they summon themselves back. But it's just a really kind of nice interaction. And if you wanted to go heavier on the sprites, you could do. Like I said, I think the most optimal version of this deck is running obviously all the blues, all the jets and everything like that. But then it becomes a Sprite Evil Twin rather than a Live Twin, Unchained Twin kind of deck, which I kind of like the idea that they're all twins, and it's basically like a twin deck. Moving on to the extra deck, so we'll start off with our Link 4s and our Evil Twins. So we've got 2 Trouble Sunny. This card's really, really cool. I would advise, if you have access to it, playing Ultimate Slayer in the deck, whether you side it or main it, because Ultimate Slayer has a really cool interaction that they can send Trouble Sunny to the graveyard to get rid of an opponent's Link monster, and then you also get to use Trouble Sunny's graveyard effect to banish it, to send the Leela and the Kill effect monster from the deck to the graveyard to pop another card. Now, obviously, you don't have to do that because it just says that you need to send an Evil Twin monster from your hand, deck, or face up to the field to the graveyard, and then you get to send a card on the field. So you can use anything you want, but the issue is what you've got to keep in mind, as the dog clearly agrees, that the main decks are Live Twins. So it's the extra decks that are Evil Twins. We only have one main deck Evil Twin, which is why some people play that as a one-off when they're playing Ultimate Slayer as well. Then, of course, we'll finish off the rest of the Evil Twins because we do max out on all of those. So you've got triple Kill and triple Leela. So these should be incredibly cheap now because they just got a secret reprint in Battles of Legend, Crystal's Revenge. So both of these have the same effect in a sense that if it is special summoned and you control a Leela, so this one is if you control Leela, this one is if you control Kill, so the opposites. This one lets you draw a card, this one lets you target a card on the field and destroy it. And then during the main phase, both of these have the effect that if you don't control the other counterpart, you can bring that other counterpart back from the graveyard. Now, it just needs to be a Leela or Kill, so you can bring back the Live Twins if you want to. But the idea is that you're going to go for the first one, you go into one of them, bring back one of the little Live Twins, then you go into the second Link monster, use the effect, bring back the other Link monster, and then you ultimately end up into Trouble Sunny, which has a quick effect to tribute it, bring these two back, and it gives you like a send and a pop, which is really cool. Like I mentioned earlier in the profile, you do lock yourself into fiends, so we do play a whole host of fiend monsters. Going with, of course, Nightmare Unicorn, and then of course your Unchained engine of 1 Abomination, 2 Anguish, and 2 Rage. Now, all of these have their abilities to link with your opponent's monsters, or these 3 do. And the idea is that Unchained Soul of Rage can link with one of your opponent's monsters. So if they put a link 2 on the board, you can go straight into Abomination. But the idea is you want to go into Unicorn because it is another form of disruption, as it is a fiend monster. Also off the back of that as well, not as a quick effect, but Unchained Soul of Anguish. During your turn, you get to use one of your opponent's monsters to link summon, so you'll go into Abomination. And then Abomination is just like a multi-pop. So it's like, during the end phase, pop a card, and then if you popped a card without using his effect, so Leela, you get to pop another card as well. So he's like, end phase, pop a card. If you bring back Leela, you're going to pop a card, and you're going to use his effect again to pop a card, and he's a 3k boss monster. So... And then the last card we play that isn't a fiend is 2 Sprite Elf. Now this is a little bit tricky because you need to make sure you go into this before you activate any of your lock cards, which means you need to go into it before you activate your Unchained, and you need to go into it before you activate your Leela and Kill that lock you into fiends. But the idea of Sprite Elf is it gives you the ability to bring back an extender should you want to, whether that is to push for your Unchained Soul of Rage plays, or if it's to kind of build into your other Live Twin plays. Obviously, during your opponent's turn as well, it gives you the ability to bring back Leela or Kill. So it's one of them ones where if you have the ability to bring back a... So you've already got Kill on the board and you've got Elf. Not to mention that if you put it to a zone that Elf points to, they can't be targeted, which is great. Use the effect of Elf to bring back the Leela, which will pop a card, do whatever it needs to do. And then if they get rid of the Kill, you still have the Leela effect live to bring back the Kill and draw a card. So Elf is basically just another form of the twins, which is really, really cool as long as you have the other counterpart on the board to draw a card. So even if you went, you know what, okay, I can't get both my links to the board, so what I'll do is I'll use Elf's effect during my turn because my opponent doesn't control a monster to bring back one of the live twins. And then during my opponent's turn, I'll bring back the other evil twin to get the draw or the pop. So it's just a way of being able to get the draw / pop combo without actually having to play both of the link monsters in one turn. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much it for the profile itself. I'm now going to show you the very basic combos that you're going to want to be looking into for this deck. Okay, so let's start off with the 1 card basic combo. Now, the 1 card basic combo involves either Kill or Leela, and like I've already said, you have plenty of ways to get to this. Obviously, you've got the Live Twin Home, you've got the Secret Password, you've got Silent Mining, and then of course you also have the Sunny Snitch. So the idea is that you're going to normal summon one of them, use the effect to summon out the other one, and then this is where you're just going to go for the very basic link combo. So you'll go with Kill and Leela, and you go into whichever one you want to do. So if you're going second, you want to go into Leela because that will give you the pop. If you're going first, you're going to Kill because you want the draw. So you're going to Kill, use the effect to bring back the Leela. You then use Leela plus the Kill and go into a second Leela. Use the effect of Leela to bring back the Kill. Kill was summoned while you control Leela, so you draw a random card. And then you link both of these together if you want to and go into your Troubled Sunny. And then Troubled Sunny is going to give you the ability during your opponent's turn as a quick effect to tribute this card to special on up to 1 Kill and 1 Leela from your graveyard. So that will give you the ability to bring both of these back, unlock more link zones in the main monster zone if you want to. And then off the back of that as well, you'll get a Leela, pop a card, and you'll get a Kill, draw a card. So from 1 card, you've been able to +2 and go from there. Everything else in your hand then just becomes additional advantage. So let's show you what that additional advantage means. So moving on to the next combo. Now this is the combo that involves the Unchained, which gets very, very spicy. I really do like it. So you need to open up Leela or Kill, and we've already talked about how many different ways you get into that. You ideally need to open up a Ruha, which is a little bit more restrictive because you only have 3 copies of it. And then you need to open up one of the Unchained trap cards, either or. Now the ideal one to open up with is Escape because it will give you the most advantage and the most forms of disruption during your opponent's turn. So you do the same combo as you did before. So Leela will then go into Kill. There you go. Now you don't need to use their effect right away to go into the link summons, it's entirely up to you. But the idea is that you want to use the Aruha effect in hand to target a card on the field and destroy it. So you want to destroy the Escape and summon itself down. You then use the Escape effect, which will let you special summon an evil twin from the deck. Now at this point you are locked into fiends, but because we're going to go down the same route as we did before as well, it's not the end of the world for that one. So off of the back of this, you want to summon out your Sorama. Now, Sarama has a very nice effect. So Sarama is going to target to destroy the Aruha and reset the escape, so you've got a form of back row interruption. You'll then trigger off the Aruha effect, and the Aruha is going to allow you to bring out an Unchained Soul. So we're going to go out for the Disaster. So it's now at this point where you've got pretty much everything you need. So you can keep doing the Kill Leela combo, so do the exact same thing. So you'll go into Leela, Kill, I just showed you in the first combo, end up into a Trouble Sunny, and you would have drawn a card. And then what you want to do is you want to link these two together, and you're going to go into your Unchained Soul of Rage. So by adding the 2 cards to the original first 1-card combo, you've gained an ability to link with one of your opponent's monsters, which will ultimately allow you to link into a Unicorn if you want to. And then because of that card you drew off of the Kill, you get to discard that and then spin a card back. So you've got a form of 1 interruption by absorbing it as a link summon, 2 interruption as spinning, 3 interruption of the escape if you do that beforehand, because keep in mind you ideally want another one on the board. And then you've also got the ability of the Evil Twin to go from there. So this is probably where you don't go to the Unicorn because of the escape. You'll probably go more so for the Anguish, because then that'll leave you with an Unchained monster. Keep in mind as well that the Anguish does have a nice effect. So if it's destroyed by battle or card effect, you get to target 1 Fiend monster in your graveyard, accept itself, and add it back to your hand. So it will let you recycle your Ruha for the next turn. But the idea is, unscaped, this will pop a card. So whether you go want to bounce, so you bounce with the Unicorn, absorb and bounce with Unicorn, or you absorb and then go for a pop off the back of the escape. And then, of course, you will have the Trouble Sunny, which will allow you to summon back your Leela and Kill, which will give you another pop and another draw. If you really, really wanted to as well, if you wanted to go for Unicorn instead, another really cool interaction is, instead of popping your opponent's card, you can actually pop your own card. So I'll tell you what, let me reset this just to make it a little bit neater, because this is where we can get a bit more advantage off of the Unicorn. So we have, this is our end board, and we've got 1 random card in the hand. Then what you do is you actually go for Sunny first. Sunny will then bring back the Leela and the Kill. Wherever they are, there we go. Now, you can do it however you want, they can go wherever you want. So you bring these back like here. You'll get the Kill draw, so you'll get a second random card in your hand. You can use the Leela pop to destroy the escape. That will then allow you to summon an Unchained from the deck, which will bring Soul. You can then use Soul's effect to discard a card, to destroy a card on the field. And then, on top of that, you can then use Rage's effect to link summon with one of your opponent's monsters, go into Unicorn. Unicorn is co-linked, so you discard a card to spin a card back, and then it will draw that card you've just discarded. And then during your draw phase, because it's co-linked by 2 more monsters, you'll get an additional card as well. So you can see how you just gained additional advantage off the back of that. It's really kind of cool. And then at this exact standpoint, you haven't really locked yourself into anything. So you can then upgrade your Unchained without normal summoning or anything. If you want to go for the pop, you upgrade your Unicorn into Abomination. Let's put them up here. And then you can use Leela's effect, or Kill's effect, sorry, to bring back the Leela to pop another card. And then you're going to be swinging in for a huge amount of damage because you've got 6k just there, and then you've got 2/2 there. So you've got an exact game on board. Not to mention you still have the ability, if you wanted to, you can go Trouble Sunny to banish this, to send this, to then send 1 card your opponent controls, and then use the Leela effect to bring it back and get you an additional draw. So you've like replenished your entire hand and then some. Anyway, I hope this combo is kind of giving you a nice little breakdown. I know it got a little bit messy in the middle, but you can kind of see how the 2 decks themselves synergize really well together. Like I said, if you have the money to put into it, you can go for Sprites, but Sprites may be close to a ban list. Not obviously so close, but what I mean is you got more chance of a Sprite card getting hit than you do a Evil Twin or a Live Twin. So, sorry, Unchained Twin or a Live Twin as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Do it to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, guys, as absolutely always, stay safe and, of course, happy dueling.